evening, everyone. I'm Terry Zahn. Bob Grip is on vacation.
And I'm Diana Morgan. There is a huge traffic jam in downtown Norfolk this evening. The Midtown Tunnel was closed this afternoon when a fire broke out in a railroad boxcar containing a hazardous material. Police were forced to reroute traffic to the downtown tunnel, and that brought traffic to a virtual standstill. Barbara Sierra is standing by live near the Midtown Tunnel. Barbara, could you tell us exactly what happened there?
Yes, Diana, the fire is still burning, but it is under control now. But earlier this afternoon at the Norfolk and Portsmouth Beltline switching yard, fire erupted in a boxcar containing a toxic material. Now, it's called ammonium nitrate. It's combustible, and the fear was that it would explode like a bomb. The material is combustible with water, so firemen had hoped that it would burn itself out, but that didn't happen. They decided at some point during the afternoon that they should go in with water hoses and try and put the fire out. It burned and it burned as they tried to make plans to see how they would handle that. Later on in the afternoon, the battalion chief Lilienthal decided that they would go in with 2 hoses and break open the door with a crane and then try to flood out the boxcar with water to try to get that fire under control. And as it happened, the fire slowly did burn itself out. They got in there later on this afternoon, and after some brief negotiations with Coast Guard on how to handle the situation, the men suited up in the suits that you see here on the screen. And I should tell you something about that material out there. It's burning. It's not only toxic, but if you get it on your skin, it will also create some sort of hazardous effect. They went out there suited up. There were 4 guys. 2 of them would go in at a time. The other 2 acted as a backup crew. And what you're seeing here is earlier this afternoon when they went in to try to fight that fire in the boxcar. That's a shot from Chopper 10. Now, a little bit later on, we saw what they did from Chopper 10 when they actually went in and pulled those cars up. But with me right now to tell me what the update is with the situation is Battalion Chief Steve Wise. Now, Chief, I understand that the situation is under control, but there's still some cleanup processes that you have to go through.
Right. At the present time, we have water on the situation. The danger with ammonium nitrate is that in a confined area, it will explode like a bomb. We have opened the car, provided the ventilation. This was the major problem this afternoon in being able to extinguish it. We had to be sure the car had ventilated before we could go to it because we were in an explosive situation. We had evacuated the area to the northeast of the location because of toxic fumes. We have now opened the car. We have water on the situation. Probably in a half an hour or so, we'll be opening the streets back up and letting those residents come back to their homes.
Now, I also understand that the EPA took part in the situation here, taking air quality samples of the situation around here. That's what prompted the evacuation to begin with. But there's another danger. I understand that the water runoff may contain some of those toxic chemicals. What are you doing about that?
Yes, the chemical itself, when mixed with water, is a corrosive type agent. And what we have done is we have checked the drainage maps for this area. We've determined that the runoff will create no problem or pollution factor. The Coast Guard is here monitoring that, and we have not had a problem with it at the present time. We don't feel that we will because there's not any great amount of drainage in this area.
So the folks at home should, pardon the expression, breathe easy now around this area?
Correct. Yes, they should. For a while, it was a rather explosive situation. The evacuation area for the amount of ammonium nitrate that was exposed into the fire was something like 5,000 feet in a radius, not a diameter, a radius from the center point. So you're talking about a mile almost in each direction.
No injuries from firefighters or civilian personnel?
We've had no injuries at all.
Thank you very much, Chief. Now, earlier, the situation did prompt it, as you heard the battalion chief tell you, prompted the situation so that the immediate area was evacuated. Joel Rubin has details on that.
Call 5, we are evacuating everybody in the north end of Shea Terrace at this time.
Portsmouth fire officials quickly prepared to move residents from the vicinity of the accident to safer locations. The first to leave were pupils at Shea Terrace Elementary.
Which way? That way. You may go. Come on. Come on. You may go.
Because of a shift in the winds, mass evacuations weren't necessary.
Will the residents please evacuate this area? Please evacuate this area.
But a number of persons in the Shade Terrace neighborhood were taken to Wilson High School, where a relocation center had been established. With the Midtown Tunnel closed, rush hour traffic leaving Portsmouth had to be rerouted, causing long backups on streets like Effingham here. Police were out in force setting up roadblocks at a number of key intersections. Traffic was also backed up in Norfolk as motorists who normally use the Midtown Tunnel crammed instead into the downtown tube. The Berkeley Bridge and Brambleton Avenue were bumper to bumper, a major mess caused by a single boxcar fire several miles away. This is Joel Rubin, the Daily News.
Well, Diana, the word here, I just got this from Battalion Chief Steve, that everything's under control. In fact, all of the traffic is being opened back up to the public as we speak. So traffic's moving smoothly now, and the roads are open, and people can go back to their homes.
So we're talking about maybe a half an hour before everything is finally back to normal. Thank you, Barbara. Terry?
Well, the Chesapeake Fire Department announced a cause for another huge fire about 10 days ago. It was shortly after 5 on a Sunday morning when an explosion and fire tore through the Texaco sales terminal in South Norfolk. There were no injuries, but by the time it was out, firefighters from 4 cities, plus the Navy and the Coast Guard, had responded. Today, investigators said the blaze was caused by spontaneous combustion. No other details were released. The Virginia Society of Human Life says it wants further investigation into the death of a 22-week-old fetus last month at Norfolk General Hospital during an abortion. The fetus showed signs of life, but without enough development, it later died. At an afternoon news conference, the Society, along with local ministers, including the Jimenezes of Rock Church, said they had no new findings since the death, but they want to require all local hospitals to provide full disclosure of their procedures and practices in abortions.
Shouldn't every Tidewater resident be aware of and have the right to know the standards of medical practice in its area hospital? Is Norfolk General Hospital not accountable to the community in which it serves as to its policies concerning patient care? This press conference was called to express the concern of many Tidewater citizens that the death of this baby is tantamount to murder, and we request further investigation.
Investigations by both the hospital and the Norfolk Commonwealth's Attorney's Office found that the proper measures had been taken.
A new expulsion and suspension program goes into effect tomorrow in the Newport News school system. The program is designed specifically for students who use drugs and alcohol. Ed Hazelwood has more.
Come morning, some Newport News students will face a new reality. In the old days, a student caught using drugs or alcohol was suspended or expelled depending on the seriousness of the offense. The new reality consists of forcing students who are kicked out to participate in a rehabilitation program before they are allowed to return to school.
These activities are mandatory by the school system. It means that the students have to participate. If they don't participate, then they will not return to school.
The new program means students caught drinking, smoking dope, or selling it will be referred to Alternatives Incorporated, a local rehabilitation program. It is hoped that through counseling and group sessions, students can find ways to do other things with their time. We spoke with some students at Menchville High School. All were in favor of the program. All said Menchville is like any other school. Drugs are easy to find.
If you go to the library or socialize inside the building, then you won't have any problem. But if you go out on the courtyard where all the riffraffs hang out, then that's where you'll get involved.
The key to the program was summed up by one student. Just like street crime, the key is often enforcement.
Teachers see it. I know teachers know what's going on, but as far as I know, nothing's ever said by the teachers. And I think that's a mistake. Something needs to be said.
Programs of this type have been used in other school systems as well, notably in neighboring Hampton. Educators say it has worked well there. They hope it does the same here. In Newport News, I'm Ed Hazelwood, the Daily News.
And still to come, the chief of the Atlantic Fleet looks back at his first year at the helm.
And a big retail boost for Suffolk. Details when we come back. Governor Charles Robb is asking Agriculture Secretary John Block to designate 25 more Virginia counties as disaster areas. That'll enable them to receive emergency assistance. Robb sent the request on September 30th. That's the same day that 20 counties were designated disaster areas because of the summer drought. That federal action really doesn't do all that much, but it does make available low-interest loans from the Farmers Home Administration. Tidewater's biggest grocery store chain and largest shopping center developers say they will build on a prime piece of property in Suffolk. Joel Rubin reports that when the complex opens next year, it will add big bucks to the city's tax rolls.
Suffolk has spent the last 5 years trying to interest a developer in its old city farm property on Main Street near Oversea Hospital. Finally, one has been found. At a City Hall news conference, the Nussbaum Company and Farm Fresh announced plans to construct a grocery store and shopping center on 17 acres of the land. For Suffolk, that meant money right away.
And I'd like to present this check to you now for the land, for our portion of the land.
Is it signed?
Signed and everything. Take it to the bank and get your money.
The check from Gene Walters of Farm Fresh was for over $122,000. The store itself is expected to generate $500,000 yearly in tax revenue and 250 jobs. Quite an addition for a city with a budget of just $40 million and a population of under 50,000. Suffolk has just begun a vigorous economic development campaign, and the mayor hopes more corporations will follow Farm Fresh's lead.
And we feel that we have really laid the groundwork to be what we call a very exciting city.
Getting a shopping center is a plus for Suffolk, but it will only occupy about a quarter of these 67 acres. The city is hoping to interest housing developers in the other 50. And with picturesque Lake Mead bordering the property, it could be hot property indeed. In Suffolk, Joel Rubin, The Daily News.
Now that he's been chief of the Atlantic Fleet for a year, Admiral Wesley McDonnell is ready to assess the fleet. In a recent meeting with reporters, the four-star admiral said the Navy's new duties off the coast of Central America and Lebanon are demanding commitments. Our military reporter Kathy Mitkiff has more.
Armed with all the recent statistics, Admiral Wesley McDonnell reported fleet readiness up 5%, but it has not been an easy year. The Navy's commitment to support the Marines off the coast of Lebanon is eating into fuel supplies. That means more operations closer to home and slower transits. It also means juggling carrier battle groups, a concept called flex ops. Still, even with the increased commitments, cruises shouldn't last much longer than the standard 5.5 months, with the possible exception of amphibious ships. Now that the Marines could be in Lebanon for another year and a half, those amphibs will have to be there too.
It's not going to be easy, but I don't think it'll do anything more than is happening right now. I don't think the pressures will be any greater, but they're going to be a little bit longer.
On top of overseas commitments, the Atlantic Fleet is heavily involved in drug interdictions. 30 P-3 aircraft are on the prowl for smugglers, along with 10 Norfolk-based E-2C Hawkeyes and 14 Marine Corps OV-10s. At least 2 to 3 ships per month carry Coast Guard boarding parties. The Navy's own battle against drugs, including alcohol, is showing good results, and the fleet isn't loosening the reins anytime soon.
I can tell you that 95.2% of the people that we've tested are drug-free. We're not going to tolerate alcohol abuse any more than we're going to tolerate drug abuse.
On another subject, despite 3 crashes in as many weeks, the aircraft accident rate has improved by 5% in just 1 year. The Atlantic Fleet commander says there's one area where the fleet needs work: nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare. Our NATO allies have a much more sophisticated system for protecting themselves from nuclear fallout. They can seal off parts of their ships and keep functioning when the outside air is contaminated.
Ships have not been built that way. To go back and retrofit is a tremendous cost to do that. You can imagine trying to redo your whole house by putting another house inside of it. And that's about what you're faced with in this particular situation.
So Admiral McDonnell starts his second year with a fleet that has 2 commitments more than it did last year. A challenge, but not an impossible one. At the Norfolk Naval Base, Kathy Mitkiff, The Daily News.
Coming up, Don explains some July weather in October.
We'll have his forecast when we come back.
Nissan trucks are
Major motion.
This new Nissan long bed hauls more than any other compact truck.
Overtime.
Nissan harnesses the most powerful standard engine in its class to massive extra strength springs.
This long bed is one tough hunk.
It is major motion.
Come alive. Come and drive. Major motion from Nissan.
At your Datsun dealer.
I'm Ed McMahon. If you or someone you love is age 55 to 87, I urge you to let us know who you are. If you do, you'll receive free information about a life insurance policy designed especially for men and women age 55 to 87. Life insurance with no physical examination and no medical questions. You cannot be turned down regardless of your health or for any reason. And your premium will be $6.95 a month and will never increase. Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company wants to send you this free information. So if you are age 55 to 87 and thought it would be difficult to buy life insurance, shouldn't you call now? Here's the number.
This offer ends soon, so call now. 800-453-4844. This is a free call. 800-453-4844.
Well, it really did feel more like July 4th than October 4th today. It was a very beautiful day out there.
Yeah, but not sitting in your car waiting to get through the tunnel for 2 hours.
A lot of air conditioning's going full blast out there.
Yeah, well, like many of you out there, I was waiting to get through the tunnel as well. Yeah, it's warm out there. It feels like July out there. Let's have a look at what we have ahead. Clouding up, maybe a shower or two, especially late tomorrow, and then we'll see some cooler weather. But tomorrow should remain nice and warm. Here's our forecast for tonight. Partly cloudy skies. We should see an increase in cloudiness as some stuff moves in from the west of us. Our lows tonight should drop to between 61 and 65 degrees. South winds for tonight at right around 10 to 15 miles an hour. And then by tomorrow, it looks like it should be mostly cloudy, or an ever so slight chance of a shower, and just a brief shower at that. 82 to 85 degrees should be the high temperature, so rather warm but cloudy, and those southwesterly breezes again helping to warm things up to about 10 to 15 degrees above normal. After that, Thursday, looks like we'll see some sunshine again, a little bit more pleasant weather as far as the temperature. This is very pleasant temperature, 75 to 78 degrees by about Thursday. Here's a look at our current conditions right now across the area. We have sunny skies, and the temperature at the airport is 84 degrees. It was about 110 in my car, and temperatures were about 150 across in the traffic. Dew point was at 60 degrees. That makes our humidity fairly low, 45%. Southwest winds are at 8 miles an hour, and the barometric pressure falling, 29.90. The low last night, 60. The high for this afternoon, 85 degrees. That was at 4 o'clock. We've got a high tide around 8:30, low tide around 2:45, and the bay temperature is at 68 degrees. Temperatures across the area are mostly in the low to mid-80s. One temperature in the 70s, 77 degrees along the Outer Banks, 87 in Elizabeth City. Ms. Bradby is our weather watcher there. She moved from Williamsburg down to Elizabeth City, and she's still a weather watcher. 82 degrees in Chesapeake, 84 in Portsmouth and Norfolk and Hampton and Newport News and Williamsburg, 81 in Seaford, 86 degrees right now in Cape Charles. The cool spot on the map is in Franklin with 80 degrees. Skies are sunny all across the area and light southerly breezes. A pretty nice day all the way around. Now, we look out west, cool weather. This is the dividing line between the rather warm and a little bit humid weather that we've got across our area. And then behind it, rather cool, even some snow again in the higher elevations of the Rockies. A couple of cold fronts are dropping southeastward. There's some area of some thunderstorms all through this part of the United States, from eastern Kansas into southern Missouri, up to about 3 inches of rain there. Some scattered thunderstorms here. This thing rotates clockwise, and it's a southwesterly flow of air, and it begins to warm things up. If it's already warm, it should be warm again for tomorrow. But as all of this approaches, we should start to cloud up and maybe see just a few showers, especially by tomorrow night. But it'll be fairly warm again for tomorrow. High temperatures between 81 and 85 degrees. We'll say 83. After that, Thursday, we should clear off a bit. 78. Friday, 72. Saturday, 69. And Sunday, 68 degrees. So another warm one for tomorrow. Possibility of a shower, but not a real great chance.
We still need that rain. I wish it would come. Thank you, Don. In sports, the Major League Baseball playoffs start tonight. Bruce will be here to tell us all about it when we come back.
The sun brings out all kinds of people, and they all want a beer that won't slow them down.
Turn it loose, turn it loose, turn it loose tonight. Coors Light, turn it loose tonight. Don't hold back, turn it loose tonight. Beer after beer when you're moving around. Coors Light is the one that won't slow you down. Coors Light, turn it loose tonight. Turn it loose, turn it loose.
And the baby can sit in your lap.
Cindy, someone wants to see you.
The birth of a new baby can throw one little world into a tailspin. Portsmouth General Hospital understands and innovates. Our sibling awareness program helps a child see that we take very good care of patients, including one very special mom and one very small new friend. Portsmouth General Hospital, the one we innovate for, is you.
Nice car. How does the engine sound? You need a precision tune tune-up. Now how does your engine sound? Precision Tune uses the latest diagnostic tuning equipment, so we can guarantee we'll keep your car humming. How does your car sound after a Precision Tune tune-up?
It hums a Precision Tune.
Now in Portsmouth, Janif, and opening soon on Mercury Boulevard, Hampton.
People from all over Tidewater like shopping at Farm Fresh. Here are the reasons.
Everything is very reasonably priced, more so than a lot of the other stores.
Because it's extremely convenient and the prices are terrific.
If you haven't shopped Farm Fresh lately, now's a great time to come in because we're giving away a brand new Pontiac Fiero in cooperation with your local Tidewater Pontiac dealer and the Gillette Company. Register at any remarkable Farm Fresh supermarket and tell a friend.
Great.
All right, let's put Bruce on the spot tonight. Who do you think's going to be in the World Series this year?
In the National League, it's going to be the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
In the American League, it's not going to be the White Sox, Diane. It's going to be the Orioles.
You think so?
Bet on it.
I will.
All right.
I will.
It all starts tonight, the Major League Baseball playoffs. The Los Angeles Dodgers host the Philadelphia Phillies in the first game of the best-of-5 National League Championship Series. Both teams got a quick early morning workout today and then took the rest of the afternoon off. The Phillies will send 15-game winner Steve Carlton to the mound, while the Dodgers will pin their hopes on left-hander Jerry Royce. The Dodgers, of course, are in the series for the 5th time in 10 years, but they have a different look. Gone, names like Steve Garvey, Davey Lopes, but they've been replaced by new, younger players like Mike Marshall and Steve Sachs.
Dodgers, and I don't really know what to expect. I've always watched it on TV. Being a youngster growing up in Chicago, you always watch the All-Star game and the playoffs in the World Series, and you just don't think that you'd ever be there. I feel great. You know, this is going to be a great experience for me, and we've worked so hard this year just to get to this point, and you know, we're very excited.
The Phillies, a charter member of the National League, well, they're about 100 years old now, and they're in the playoffs for the 5th time in 8 years. But this season, the Phils haven't played very well against L.A.
I think that we were playing badly every time we faced them, but I have to say that the Dodgers played excellent ball against us. Their pitching was good, outstanding. We hit 186 against them, so that isn't much to brag about. Everybody told me they're a poor defensive ball club. I think they made 7 errors, and they all look like Brooks Robinson out there to me.
We really had nothing to get us excited, to get us to be as good as we were, and I think from that point on, our team came together.
But this is a series, and they're going to see a different ball club than what they last saw.
The American League playoffs get underway tomorrow afternoon in Baltimore, where the Orioles host the Chicago White Sox. The weatherman says there's a 40% chance of rain in Baltimore tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. The Orioles plan to start Scotty McGregor, who's won 18 games this year. The White Sox will counter with the fat boy, Lamar Hoyt, a 24-game winner. That should be a great series. The Orioles against the White Sox, I'll be there, and we'll try to give you a different look from the field and the locker room throughout the week here on the Daily News. And don't forget, the game tonight, as well as the Orioles series, will be right here on TV 10, so we'll be watching.
Thank you, Bruce. Right back after this time now.
With the savings you find at S&H Green Stamps, you save 2 ways when you shop below.
month, step right into Below. It's a fact, our prices bring you in. Our people bring you back.
Creamy, smooth, and so delicious. That's Pet Ice Cream. Take home a half gallon for only $1.59. And the taste says butter, but it's really Kraft Parquet margarine. Get 2 1-pound quarters for 89 cents. And remember, you always get the added value of S&H green stamps at Below.
If all hardware stores were alike, it wouldn't matter where you shopped. You'd just go to the closest one. But Service Star has a huge selection of brand names, so more people are shopping there. Service Star also gives expert advice. Lots of people have come to rely on that. And of course, other stores don't have Service Star's low prices. So no wonder Service Star is a little busier. The best places always are. Service Star, hardware, lumber, home centers.
Willis Wayside doesn't have a sale every day, but when we do, things really start popping. It's a sale. Get the picture? It's a very special sale, and it's happening right now. Bedrooms, desks, accessory items, modulars, dressers, tables, chests. Willis Wayside doesn't have a sale every day, but when we do, it's very special.
Once again, our top story tonight, a fire in a chemical-laden boxcar in Portsmouth forced the closing of the Midtown Tunnel for a time today and also forced an evacuation. Our Barbara Sierra is still at the scene of the fire live. And Barb, are things pretty much back to normal now?
Terry, they are very much back to normal. The fire still burns at this time, but officials assure us that everything is under control. In fact, all of the evacuees that were taken to the high school have been told that they can return home. There is no more danger, and everything's under control. The traffic pattern's back to normal, and they're just in the cleanup processes here. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. That is our report for right now. We will keep our eyes on that situation in Portsmouth. If there are any changes, we'll have them tonight on our late news. Again, a chemical fire that closed the tunnel for a time today.
The NBC Nightly News is next, and we'll see you tonight after the baseball playoffs.
Good night.
Thank you.